Cricket here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Valentine's wreath with a Dollar Tree frame. We're going to use 2 rolls of Deco Mesh and 2 2.5 inch ribbon and 2 1.5 inch ribbon. First, we're going to start off by wiring our frame, and we're going to mimic kind of the work forms that you buy in the craft stores with the ties already on them. So this way it's a little bit cheaper price point. And I'm going to start off by using the cross brackets here. And then I'm going to go directly across from this one. And then you're going to turn this and go directly in the middle of these two. Straight across from this one. I buy my pipe cleaners from Hobby Lobby. I find them to be the strongest that I've found so far. I was getting them on Amazon for a while, and then I happened to pick a pack up at Hobby Lobby, and they're really strong. Okay, so now what you're going to do is go in between each one of these. So that'll give you 8 on the top, just like a regular work form. And then the last one right here. Okay, so for the bottom, I just kind of pick a place to start. I usually pick a crossbar. It don't really matter where you start, I guess. And then what I do, I know some people do this and then start there. I measure out 4 inches. Like, I put my tie on the mark, and then I just go 4 inches from that. I think it might come out to the same. I don't really know. Let's see. Yeah, it pretty much does. So you could do it either way. If you want to measure out 4 inches, or you can just fold your pipe cleaner down and go to the next spot. I think that gives you exactly 4 inches. It's a little bit. It's pretty close. And we're just going to keep going all the way around until we should have 10 evenly spaced cleaners. Sometimes I have to adjust them, but for the most part they come out right. that one. You want to make sure your pipe cleaners are nice and tight. You don't want them to move around. So we have the last one here, and it should come out right about even. There we go. So now we have 10. On the bottom and 8 on the top, just like your work form would. So we're going to put that to the side for now. And I'm using 2 rolls of mesh. There are several different ways you can do this. Several different methods. This is just one method that you could use. And I'm going to cut each roll of mesh at about 18 to 19 inches. You can usually get 18 cuts out of one roll as long as you keep it under 20 inches. So we're going to use both rolls. Nothing's going to go to waste. And I'm going to keep these for pricing. So I would say cut them about 18 inches just to be safe. That's my mesh roller over here. And this is that fine weave mesh, which is really nice. It's a nice stiff mesh. So we're going to grab both pieces here, lay them on top of each other, and we're going to measure out 18 inches. And we're going to cut the whole entire roll, both rolls. And when you're done, you should have 18 total cuts of each. Like I said, there's several different methods that you could do. And I'm pretty sure that I have another tutorial on my YouTube page of a different method using 21-inch mesh and 10-inch mesh. You could also use 2 rolls of 10-inch mesh and cut them at 30 inches for the bottom and like 28 for the top. There's several different ways to do it. This does make a nice full wreath though, even on the Dollar Tree frame. I try to keep it between 18 and 19 inches because some of these rolls cheat you and don't give you all the yards that you that it says on the packaging. So this red I don't think I'm gonna get. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we just barely got it. There's still a little bit left on the roll, just a little bit on each. Okay, let's bring our frame back. Okay, so I like to start on the bottom. You can start wherever you want, and I take the, see how these are looser rolled, and then like these are tighter. I try to keep these for the inside because the sign, you know, and the bow usually cover those, so I like to keep the fuller ones on the outside. So I use the cruffle method. I like it because it hides the ends of your mesh. And what you do is just roll it in a couple times. Just roll it. Say about 3 times and see how it hides that edge. And now you just use a clip. Turn it and do the same thing. You're going to roll. And then you're going to take your fingers and push here and just squish up the middle. And that gives you this nice little bow tie. And we're just going to lay it down right in the pipe cleaner. Give it a good twist. And then we're going to put the red right on top of it. So we're going to do the same thing. And we're just going to alternate all the way around the wreath. Again, just push and walk your fingers up. Grab hold of that, and that gives you a nice little bow tie. So this one we laid this way. So this one we're going to do up and down like this. You could open up the twist tie if you want and lay it on top. But so this is what it's going to look like. Very pretty. So we're going to continue to do that all the way around, but we're going to alternate colors. So now I'm going to start with the red on the bottom and the pink on the top. Same thing. You're just going to roll 1, 2, 3. Turn it around. Roll again. And then walk your fingers up. And then same thing. We're going to start diagonal. Horizontal, diagonal. It's too early. Okay, and it's going to go right on top of this mesh here. Just lay it down like that. And then we're going to do the pink. I like to do this method when one of the mesh is kind of smaller or more see-through than the other. Like this is a really stiff, nice mesh. This is the fine weave. And this is a, what do you call it? Like a burlap, fabric, almost fabric kind of mesh. It's called burlap mesh. But it's very soft. But it's a little see-through, and it's kind of smaller if you notice. So this is the method that I like to do with when I have a mesh like this. So we're going to put this right on top, going up and down like the last one. Give it a nice twist, and there you go. So I'm going to continue to do that all the way around, and then we'll come back for the top. Okay, so now that we've finished the bottom, we're going to go ahead and start on the top, and we're going to do the same exact thing. You don't have to alternate the colors like pink and red. You can do all red and then all pink, all red, all pink. Totally your choice, whatever you want to do. So we're going to do the same thing. Just start with whatever color you want. Doesn't matter. And you want to make sure that your mesh is rolling in on itself like this. You're going to do a couple rolls, clip it, turn it around, and then roll again, and then walk your fingers up to get that little bow tie, just like that. And you're just going to pick another spot and start there. Same thing, kind of kind of push this mesh out of the way. I'm going to put that one down in there, tie it tight, and then go on to the red. And then this one is going to go the opposite way again. And there we go. Do it one more time. This time we'll start with the red. See how it rolls in on itself this way? That's the way we want it. So we're going to find that next tie here. And lay this right down in there. Get nice and tight. And then we'll lay the pink up and down on top of it. Give it a good twist. All right. So I'm going to finish doing the top, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we're back, and this is what our base is looking like. It's very full. So we're going to put that aside for a minute and cut our ribbon. So I have 2 2.5 inch and 2 1.5 inches. And I usually cut my ribbon tails at 13 inches. So, they're 18 ties, so you need 9 of each. 2 in each tie. I think I'm going to do the bottom first, and then no, I think we're just going to put all ribbon tails. I don't like to waste ribbons, so wherever I'm going to put the bow, I normally don't put ribbon tails in. So let's see. I think I'm going to skip. I'm going to cut 8 of these and 9 of the other set of ribbon. Everything that I'm using, pretty much except the Dollar Tree frame and the pipe cleaners, all the ribbon, the sign, the mesh, all came from Craft Outlet, which I will link in the description. And I like to dovetail my ends of my ribbon, and all you do is take them and fold them over, and you're going to cut up towards the folded edge like this. And it makes a nice pretty dovetail. that set. And we're going to do the same for these. Make sure they all line up here. And there we go. Same thing. Oh, look at that. They stitched that together. I hate when they do that. Such a waste of ribbon. In this set, I'm going to cut 9. So this is a ribbon tail board, which makes life a lot easier. I think I ordered it on Etsy years ago, a couple years ago now. But if you don't have one of those, first I highly suggest you invest in one because they're incredible. And it's made out of acrylic, and it just, your ribbon just slides right off of it. But you can use a cardboard box, cut down, or, you know, like a piece of cardboard, not a cardboard box, but cut down to whatever you're going to use, whether it be 12-inch, 13-inch, 14-inch. I have a set of these, so I have the 12, 13, and 14, which you can also buy on Etsy. I'll see if I can link them in the description. Or you can just, you know, measure out your 13 inches, take it and fold it over, and then just keep folding at each spot like that until you get however many you need. Okay, which is this going to go with? I'm going to do this with the hearts, I think. So I'm only going to cut 8 of these. Doesn't want to cooperate. But it does make it a lot easier and a lot faster. Just slide it off. And you go in between here. And these, it's your choice if you want to dovetail them or just angle cut them. I do like to dovetail most of my stuff. It depends on how I feel. The smaller ribbon, smaller than 1.5, I usually just angle cut. So we're going to put that one with the hearts, I think. I always kind of like eyeball it. Like I'll do 9 of one and 8 of another because, like I said, I don't want to waste ribbon. And if I'm putting the bow in a spot where ribbon would go, I won't cut another set of ribbon. But I never know what I'm doing, so if it turns out I need another cut, then I will cut it when we get to it. But I always like to start off with 8 of one and 9 of another. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're just gonna angle cut right towards the folded edge. I'm trying not to put my scissors down each time. I just realize it makes a lot of noise, and I apologize for that. Okay, so now that we have our ribbon cut, we're going to start on adding them to our wreath. Just going to put them over here. Now you can, there are several different ways you can do this as well. But if you want to find the center of your ribbon, just lay the 1.5 on top of the 2.5 and fold it over. Make a little crease, and then there's where you would bunch your ribbon, right there in the center. It's time consuming, but I don't normally do it. So there are a couple different ways, like I said, you can do this. You can do it right on top like this. You can crisscross it like this and bunch it. So your ribbon's already going in the direction that you want. They're separated. You can do that, which is probably what I'll do. Or, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. This is one way I like to do it, and I normally do it like this. I put the 1.5 inch at the very bottom of the 2.5 inch. And I do this. And the ribbon is still separated. Like that. And that's how I like to do it. And then you're just going to find your tie and go right in. Twist it nice and tight. And see, the ribbon is still separated. So it really depends on how you want to do it. If you want them coming this way or if you want them opposite each other. And I'm going to cut these off because we are not putting anything else in these ties. So you're just going to snip it and you're going to tuck it down behind the ribbon like that. Okay? And then you're going to do the opposite in the next tie. So we're going to take one of these and one of these, and again I'm putting it at the bottom like this, and you're just going to go right up the middle just like that. My dog, sorry, apologize. And you're going to put it in the tie again, same thing as the other one. Twist it quite a few times, make sure it's secure in there. And we're going to cut it off again and tuck it down behind the ribbon. So see how pretty? Okay, so I'm going to continue to go all the way around the wreath, and I'll be back. Okay, so now we have the bottom done. We're going to start working on the top, and we're going to do the same exact thing. bottom here. And go up the middle. And this one goes in the pink, right? Pink. Make sure it's nice and tight. I'm going to cut that off and push it down under the ribbon. There we go. And we're just going to continue all the way around. And we'll end up fixing the ribbon tails at the end, but because sometimes I change my mind on how I want them to lay down, I may crisscross them like this, which I probably will. We'll see. I like to wait till the end to decide how I want it, but we're just going to continue going around. And we're going to end up with one that doesn't have a bundle of ribbon tails in it. And that's where we're going to probably put our bow. A couple more. Don't worry about what these look like right now. We'll fix those in the end. They're all like sticking up everywhere. Okay, now, as you can see, we should be having one of these for right here. But since we only cut 8 of those, we're skipping this one for the bow. So we're going to go back over here to the other red one and put this in. This will be our last ribbon tail. And you don't have to do it this way. You can cut 9 of each one and put ribbon tails in each spot. I just would rather not waste the ribbon. That's just me. And I could use it on something else. Because usually you can get 2 wreaths out of a roll of ribbon. So, okay. Okay, so that's what the wreath looks like. And then we're going to get our sign on. First, I like to decide where I'm going to put my bow in this little spot here. So I'm probably going to put it on the side of the sign. I'm going to put the sign probably right there. I write my price and where I got it from on everything that I buy. My ribbons, so I know how to price when I put it in my Etsy shop. So I'm going to take this sticker off and I keep this for my pricing. I keep a little cup here that I put my price tags in. And then we're going to cut off this. We don't need this. We're going to put our own pipe cleaners on there. So I've got 5 more pipe cleaners here. 4 are for this and 1 will be for my bow. And I put a pipe cleaner in each corner. And what I do is I staple them on. This stapler uses 1/4 inch staples and they will not go through your sign. It'd help if I got it the right way. But I just staple this down. I believe I got this stapler at Home Depot. I don't remember. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description. Right, so let's get our sign on. I'm going to put it right out there. And I like to use these little plastic needles to go right through the mesh. I don't want to move anything. I just go straight through the mesh. You don't want to disturb that mesh too much. And you just pull it right through and you're going to attach it to the back of your wreath right here on the wire frame. I'm just going to wrap it around and we'll cut those off after. Same thing, we're going to do it on each side. The bow. The bow is going there. So we want this a little more over here. And I'm kind of feeling underneath with my hand to see where the wire bar is and where we want the mesh to go. I mean, the sign. I'm going to make sure that our ribbon is not in the way. Pull it. There we go. And again, you're going to flip it over and find your crossbar, your wire bar here. And we're going to tie it on really tight. And do the same for the others. Again, we're just going to go right through the mesh. And then once you have your sign, you know, where you want it and it looks good, then we can cut these off. I don't want to cut them off before. Okay. We're going to pull all our ribbons out. I guess we could move that one. I'll try to do this before I put the sign on, but there we go. I don't do a lot of these signs on the side. Most of mine usually go in the middle, but just gonna get this all straightened out. And then we can do our bow. So there we have it. I'm going to put this off to the side. Well, actually, I'm going to cut these off first. And you're just going to tuck them in or wrap them around the wire again, whichever you want to do. You don't want anything sticking out to scratch your customer's door. So, all right, so we're going to put that aside for a second while we make a bow. Easy bow maker. That's what I use. I'm not one to make bows by hand. I think I might throw in a 5/8 here. We'll see. I'm just going to do the same exact thing. Like I used this ribbon with this. So I'm going to put this on the bottom, then this, then this, then this. So we're going to dovetail our end. And I think we'll do about 10-inch tail. So you're just going to take your tail and lay it down in here and twist. You always want the pretty side up. So, and we're going to do, I would say about 6-inch loops. So you're going to measure out 6 inches here. And you're going to twist again. Push down. Another 6 inches. And we're going to do another 10-inch tail. And dovetail that. I'm sorry about the scissors. I keep doing that. I really have to stop slamming it down. Okay. So we're going to go in with this one. dovetail. We'll do another 10 inches. I just used the last one here. You don't really have to measure it. Just make sure it's the same length as this one. Twist it. And we're just going to come in a little bit more, like 5.5. And again, there are several different ways to make bows. You can do however many loops you want. I'm just doing one loop on each side for this. You measure out your 10 inches or just cut from here. Make sure it matches the other side. Go in with this one. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can make all your tails the same. You can bring some up. You do whatever you like. Same thing. We're going to twist. And then this one was 5.5, so we're going to go down to about 5 for this. You want to be able to see each layer of the bow, so we kind of come in each time by just like a 1/2 inch. And we're going to kind of, you know, separate these out so you can see each layer, each color. And again, it's up to you on how long you want your tails, how big you want your loops. This is just, you know, a basic kind of recipe that you can use. And this will be the last, I think, if I'm not going to add, I don't know if I'm going to add a smaller ribbon in the middle. So this one, you're going to come down to about 4.5. Or you could do it smaller too. Like if you want it to be, let's do 4. Again, there's no right or wrong way. You just do want to bring it in every single time so it's smaller than the one underneath it. And then we could go in with a even smaller. I think that one's not going to stand out, so we're not going to use that. What about a pink? Let's see. This one is a 7/8 inch ribbon, which I like to use a lot of these in the center of my bows. And these I do cut on an angle. And because they give this nice little curly to your bow. So I think we're going to add that in. I'm not really measuring how long these tails are. I just kind of see how I like the curly and then I go from there. So we're going to twist. And we're going to do 2 even smaller loops, or you could just do 1 in the middle if you want, but I'm going to do 2 tiny ones. And I think these are about 3 inches. And then again, now I'll measure with the other tail. And that's it. And then these I would curl so that they're nice and whimsy and whatever looking, but we'll do that after we get the bow on the wreath. So now, pipe cleaner, zip tie. I'm going to use a nice long zip tie. You're going to go underneath all your layers of your bow. And we're going to pick it up and squish it with our fingers like this. So we get that zip tie right in the middle of our bow and squish down. And you're going to take your pipe cleaner and go in the back. And you're going to pull that nice and tight. Cut off the zip tie. Now let's get our bow all fluffed. Don't be afraid to pull those tails. We want to be able to see every color. And there we go. I'm going to pull all our tails down. And we'll get it on our wreath. And now that I know I'm using this spot here for the bow, I'm going to take this pipe cleaner, twist it a couple times, and cut it off. We do not need it, so I'm just going to hold it down. And then we're going to take this bow and it's going to go right there. You're just going to go right around that spot. Go right through the mesh. And I should probably use my needle because I can't get through the mesh. That tied on. You don't want it too tight. You don't want your bow sinking down into your wreath. So let's see. This might be a little bit too tight. So I'm going to loosen that up a little bit. You could also put an extra thing of Deco Mesh in here, which I think I'm going to do because I have extra. We're just going to take one of these rolls and squish it up because I have a little extra, so we're just going to do that. And this will make, it makes extra room like on the top for your bow to sit on. So it doesn't sink down into your wreath. Just another tip. I probably shouldn't have cut my pipe cleaner. So let me grab another one. So I'm just adding another pipe cleaner here. And then that's normally why I don't cut my pipe cleaners, because I never know. So we're just going to add an extra little in there. And you don't have to do that step, but it does help give the bow something to sit on. These frames tend to, you know, they're flat. They're not like the work forms. So where the center part is raised. So I like to add a little piece of mesh in there to help it sit up a little more. Let's get all our tails down here. And then these, we can just curl. You just take them. You can just do this if you want and just twist it. Or you just take them and roll them. Just roll them up like this. And then you're going to find that center piece there and just pull it. And it gives it a nice little twisty like that. Again, you're just going to roll. And then find the center in there and pull it out. And we'll manhandle this bow a little bit. I have to see what it looks like, otherwise I'll sit here and play with it forever. Okay. I think I like it now. All right, well, there it is. And like I said, that's just one method, but it's a Dollar Tree frame and it's really fluffy. And it comes out to about, let's see, 26 inches. And the ones that I make on the work forms are usually 28 inches, so I just go around and fix all your ribbons. And if I keep playing with this bow, we'll be here forever, so. All right, and there we go. All done. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to leave me a comment. And I hope this helped somebody. And I'll try and do more tutorials with other methods as well. Thank you guys for hanging out. Until next time, bye.